We're back, and the magnesium carbonate is now thoroughly mixed into the ink. And this is how it should look right here with the mag. This is what it looks like if there's too much mag. And I put too much down on the glass, and I was forced it all in there. So what do we do now? Well, the same thing we do with this. Both are now modified with the last ingredient, and that is the burnt plate oil. This is a number 3. I use 3 or 4. You can also find it packaged like this and or like this. This is another one here. So I'm just going to put a little bit, just a little puddle off to the side. A little bit more on that one because it's kind of stiff. And then we're going to begin to mix that into the ink. Kind of bring it back to life. And I use 2 hands. I actually push the blade against the glass, and that pulls ink off of the metal. It is a lot like cooking to get that ink where it's the right consistency to, you don't need a lot of ink. I've mixed way too much ink just to do this one little example today. It's enough ink to do a whole edition of maybe 20 prints. This looks like bubble gum now, literally. I was teasing about Bubblicious earlier, and then I really made bubble gum for real. I didn't mean to make bubble gum, but I did. This is actually a challenge to see if we put too much mag, can we salvage the ink? I think the answer is yes. Another little puddle of oil. This one's again taking much more because of the excessive amount of the magnesium carbonate. But this is the last step to mixing the ink. And all of this is to get the ink mixed to the right consistency, give it the right body for this technique of printing. Now that's more like it. See? That looks a lot better. In fact, I think that's good. So we're through with that one. That one's ready to roll up and print with it. If we want to do another drawdown test, we can do that. You can see there's our pink. Nothing's changed. All right, let's get this one mixed up. I want it to feel and look like that one. I think it's important not to stop the video and come back when it's done because you have no idea what kind of effort went into mixing it. We kind of didn't show everybody really how it takes a little bit of time to mix that magnesium carbonate in. I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes.
What would you do if you added too much oil?
You could add more magnesium carbonate. Compensate for that. It's still, see that one's feeling pretty good. This one's almost there, and in fact I think we're going to go ahead and go with it. So I'm going to say both of these are ready to print. So if I were printing a flat, I just would roll that one color up. But you're going to get to see a special thing today, and it's called gradient blend roll. And this is how you do it. So we'll shift over. And what we did is we decided we had some contaminant on the Lexan, and we noticed when we rolled the ink it was not sticking. So it should have been clean, but it wasn't clean enough. So we're reapplying the. We took the ink off of this, and we cleaned it with mineral spirits and then denatured alcohol. And I also felt that our ink was a little bit stiff, so we mixed more oil into it. Okay, and it's a lot thinner. Viscosity's it's not as tacky. It changed the viscosity. And so the technique for a blend roll is to begin rolling and shifting left to right to begin to blend these colors together. And this feels a lot better. And I'm 1/3 pink, 2/3 caramel. Pretty much. That's kind of what I was shooting for with this. Okay. Move a little bit more of the color in here. I'm rolling fast, and as I lift off here, I'm letting it spin so that it's a random landing. Back and forth. And you can begin to see that blend looking better. It looks better and better. And then we're gonna move our ink out of the way, and we're going to go ahead and apply our ink to this surface right here. And you can see how subtle it is. And it's really important not to overdo this when you're printing. I'm looking for that velvet, even velvet distribution on the Lexan. I think that looks pretty good. Another trick is you can actually hold it up to the light, and you can see that I see a little bit of a lap mark here, but it's pretty insignificant. I think we'll be okay. So what's next is we need to clean ink away from the edge of those Sharpie marks. Okay, we're back and continuing to wipe ink. And you'll notice this is a tight area in here, so I've taken a Q-tip and I've just cut it. And I can really get in there in a tight spot and remove that. So again, that little spot right in there, I'm just kind of taking the ink out. And the rest of it I did with the paper towel. Just kind of got an edge of towel and went right up against my Sharpie mark. You want to be careful. See that line of ink? If you just drag the ink, you're going to build up a pile. So you want to go in and remove it. And then get a fresh piece of towel so that you're not building up these walls of ink. Because they'll squish when they print. When you print the print, they'll kind of squish out. You could go in on this surface right now, if I were to go in there with like a toothbrush or draw a line in that ink, that would print. But I want a flat of color, so I'm not going to try to put any textures in there. Okay, that looks pretty good. So see, there's our color. And what we're going to do is go to the press. And we're going to lay this on the press bed, and then we're going to register this to the print, and we're going to print some color. We're back, and we're ready to print our color onto the the print. So here's our lithography, our lithograph of the seashells, and we wanted to put some caramel color and then some pink color off in this area here. For now, just on this shell. I may go back later and add more color. So the way we print this is we put our lithograph on the press bed, but notice it's on a piece of Lexan. And now I get to hand register this. So I'm going to just by eye.
Oh man, no worries. I mean, if you feel like it should, it'll only take 2 seconds.
Okay. So you see that's, remember how thin it was? You'd hardly see it. But now look at it. Anything more would, I think, would be too strong, possibly. So let's see if we can make this work. Now that's ready to go. We're going to slide this into position to apply pressure to transfer the ink to the plate. Everything's dry, by the way. The paper's dry. The ink is wet, but everything else is dry. And of course, we don't want anything to move on us, so I'm going to try to well, I'm not going to try. I'll just put my hand right on the plate here, and we'll go on and apply the pressure. Watch your fingers. The person who has their fingers on the bed is the same person turning the wheel, so you can be aware of where both hands are. And if I were printing the whole edition this way, I would just repeat the steps. Reapply the ink. I don't have to clean my Lexan plate, this plate. I wouldn't have to do anything like that. Just roll the ink back on there and just repeat these steps. There's our plate.
Nice.
It went, that yellow is stronger than I realized, but I like it. It kind of gives it that almost kind of an ocean color, you know? But I can't emphasize enough how thin it looked on the Lexan. It's like you probably, back in the video when you looked up at the light, it was just nothing hardly there, and yet when you print it, all of a sudden it's plenty of pigment on there. It's plenty strong. So that's it. This is now a mono print because it incorporates a repeatable matrix with a one-of-a-kind hand-applied color.